Never-ending, constant exposure to chronic stress in a narcissistic relationship, parental or romantic, leads to the development of various health issues. You know that. It also dysregulates your basic biological rhythms, one of which is your sleep. Your sleep gets dysregulated, disturbed, and disrupted because of the abuse they give you. The constant stress forces you to stay in a survival state. You keep fighting, you keep running away. We call that flight response. Or you get frozen when you feel helpless, and ultimately you might fawn. This takes a toll on your body, and that stress shows up, rather directly impacts your sleep, and then you are not able to sleep properly, which is what we are going to talk about in today's episode. Hi, I am Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. In today's episode, we are going to talk about 5 signs you must not ignore about your sleep as a survivor of narcissistic abuse. These signs clearly show that you are massively dysregulated and you need to work on your nervous system. If that sounds interesting to you, please make sure to subscribe before we begin, because as I always say, I request your subscription to this channel may help in spreading awareness about narcissistic abuse. Stay until the very end, because I'm going to give you some tips and remedies that I have personally used and I have researched about that might help you restore your sleep. Number 1, chronic sweating. If you wake up fully drenched in sweat, do not blame it on the room temperature or changing weather. Perhaps it's your nervous system. Perhaps you are stuck in a survival state of fight, flight, freeze, or fawning. Perhaps you do not feel safe enough to fully let go. Your parasympathetic nervous system is not coming online, because we need it to come online, especially when you are falling asleep. That is how the rest and digest state gets promoted, and that is how you fully let go and sleep peacefully. But because your body is showing sweating, that means you are hyper aroused. Your nerves are still activated. Your amygdala, your brain are still hyper attuned through your senses to your environment, scanning for a threat so that it will jerk you out of your sleep and will help you to survive. This is the reason why time alone does nothing when it comes to healing from narcissistic abuse. Your nervous system stores the survival stress, and it does not let go of it automatically. And that is why my request is, my suggestion is, my advice is that you create a routine, particularly when it comes to your sleep. You help your body to feel calmer. You de-stress it. You find out which trauma healing modality works for you. Do you like breathing techniques? Then find out what breathing work can help you to fall and stay asleep. Maybe aromatherapy is something you should research about, or body-based healing modalities such as Havening, Havening. It's a psychosensory therapeutic modality that promotes healing through touch. Research about that a little bit. Maybe listen to the bilateral sounds. Do whatever you can, but stabilize your external environment so that you can stabilize your internal one before going to sleep. That way you can ensure, especially to your brain, that it is safe enough for you to finally let go of that survival stress and to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. Number 2, teeth grinding. This is a problem you may not yourself be aware of, but others might tell you, those who sleep around you. TMJ, you might know about that. This is the joint where a lot of survival stress is stored. And if this is the problem that you struggle with, people tell you, you grind your teeth, do not take it lightly, do not ignore it. This tells us your body is keeping a big score of the trauma you have survived. Whenever you survived it, even if it happened in your childhood, it still lives in your body and reenacts itself when you are not consciously present. The grinding is an attempt made at regulating the anxiety that is extremely overwhelming. So maybe wear some protection gears, protect your teeth, but at the same time, work on relaxing your facial muscles, release the trauma from this area. How you can do that? A simple exercise called fish mouth exercise. It's simply opening and closing your mouth like a fish with an emphasis on the joint so that you can focus on breathing while relaxing the facial muscles. Do it before going to sleep and see if it helps. Let me demonstrate how it is done. You can do it with me. You may choose to massage this joint as well if it helps. This way, you can keep breathing, and if you start yawning, that is a good thing. Number 3, sleeping with T-Rex arms. This clearly is a primitive position activated by your brain so that your vital organs are protected. Your heart is the most vital organ, and you stay closer. You feel safer. Neurodivergent people also display this kind of behavior. I'm talking about those who have ADHD or on the spectrum of autism. They also show this behavior, but all of this is done to promote a sense of safety and stability. This is a cue from your body that you don't feel safe, or you feel overwhelmed, or you feel unprotected in the environment. So what should you do if you find yourself sleeping in this pose? And let me know if you sleep in this pose. You should relax your arms. Try to keep your arms relaxed on your body, around your thighs, and tell yourself it is safe to do so. You can also gently relax your hands, move them clockwise and counterclockwise to just promote relaxation, and feel the subtle sensations in your hands so that they can calm down. And you can gently open and close the hands so that the trauma response is completed. Because when we tend to fight, what do? We're like this. And that is what our body stays stuck in. But now that you are trying to heal, you should focus on integration. What does integration mean in this context? Completing the trauma response. So you go into that pose of tightness and release. Back and forth before the sleep should help with the T-Rex pose. Number 4, extreme nightmares. These nightmares are not just any nightmares. The common theme is you're being chased, or somebody is trying to unalive you. You are stuck in a room with walls and no doors or windows, or there is a lot of filth around you. You don't know what to do with it, or you cannot speak, or you cannot move. I'm talking from my experience. This is exactly what used to be the themes of all my nightmares. So what should you do? 1, your body is showing you there is a lot of work to be done at a nervous system bodily level. So when you're aware, do the healing work of calming yourself down, create a routine so that whatever tries to come up in your dreams, you get to the root of it and you try to process it in your conscious awareness. And 2, you soothe yourself the moment you wake up from your nightmare. To shed further light on processing the nightmare, what I'm suggesting you to do is remember what the theme was. For example, in my case, it was like not being able to speak, wanting to speak, but not being able to speak and not being able to move. So when I sat with it and tried to trauma process it, I found out that is what used to happen before my father, because of the terror that lived in my body, because of his fear. He would always have the upper hand in any situation, and the moment you open your mouth, you get punished. That is how it was. So that suppressed a lot of survival energy in my body. So what did I do? I sat with that feeling, anger came up, processed it, not in a go, in bits and pieces, then came the sadness, then came the anger again, then came the grief, and so on. That is what stopped the nightmares. Number 5, hyper-awareness of your environment. That means hyper-attunement and hypersensitivity as well. The moment you hear a sound that comes from far away, you're woken up. Other people who are sleeping around you and are not trauma survivors, they don't care. Their brain just flushes that out. It's like, no, it's not needed, insignificant, not a sign of danger. But because you lived in absolute unsafety and total turbulence, your brain has gotten used to being hyper attuned to the activities that happen in your environment, because any sound can be a sound of the threat coming towards you. So it wakes you up, and then you feel anxious about what was that? What is that? That used to be the case with me. If that is the case with you as well, do not ignore this sign and don't think you're a burden. Don't think you're a nuisance. Don't think, oh, other people are so easily able to accommodate and adapt, but here, look at me. I can't. The problem is not you. The problem is what was done to you, unfortunately. So be compassionate. Through your compassion, you will be able to create ease to your nerves that are so tired and overwhelmed, hyperactivated at the same time. Ease your sensory organs. Maybe stop the sounds, cover your ears, cover your eyes, create absolute darkness in the room. That is what I did. And find a less noisy, quiet place to sleep where you won't be disturbed. Do whatever you can to make yourself feel comfortable. Check your mattresses, your bed, everything position, and give yourself that peace. If you have pets, do not sleep with your pets as much as you would love to. They are going to, of course, unintentionally disturb your sleep, and that is the last thing you want to do if you are trying to heal. I have tried that. I have 2 cats, as you might already know, and I love them a lot. I love sleeping around, and the cat loves to move. So what does that lead to? Disturbed sleep, and then a lot of fibromyalgia related pain, gut issues, and so on. So you would want to give them a separate space, a safe space, but keep your space quiet. You need that. Your body needs that, since it hasn't had access to that kind of safety and stability in that relationship. That was the last sign. With that, let's bring this episode to an end. Thank you so much for tuning in. Before you go, I have a small announcement for you. I'm doing an online workshop on how to break a trauma bond in 5 practical steps. It's happening on 9th March. It also happened on 2nd March. Done. Was an amazing experience. If you were there, let me know how it was for you. Drop your answers in the comments. So it's again happening on 9th March. Then I don't know when it will happen again, as it only happens twice a year. If you want to be a part of this workshop, you can book your spot now by clicking the I button above or the link in the description of this episode. Thank you so much. Until the next time, let the healing begin and continue.